For the first part of your project, you're going to want to find a reference photo. I found one here on my phone with some colored pencils. And you're going to want to copy that reference photo larger onto your paper. Make sure you're watching your ratios and proportions. Things should line up together in your drawing where they lined up together in the photo. Then you can go over and you can start working on the oil pastel. I always start with my lightest or base layer first, or the core layer that goes in there. And then I can go back over and add even lighter highlights with either lighter colors or white. I can go in and add some mid-tones with those mid-tone colors that I would find. And then I can go back in with some darker colors and add the darker side of things to create that roundness and that value. Even though I'm not using grayscale anymore, I'm using color. You can see I'm going from kind of a peach color for the wood into a yellow ochre and then some burnt sienna and brown for my shadows for the wood part of the pencil. For the colored part of the pencil, I'm using that core color of the colored pencil, and then I'm going back in and adding lighter tints or darker shades. In this instance, I started with pink, and then I added red in for the shading, white in, and lighter pink for the highlights on the side. I go back in and I work on each pencil one at a time. That's the easiest thing for me to do. If you're doing a landscape, starting in your background and working your way forward can be helpful as far as order of operations goes. Or if you just want to work from left to right on your paper, if you're right-handed, or right to left on your paper if you're left-handed, that helps keep your hand from rubbing the oil pastels if you accidentally rest your hand on the paper. You can tell in mine, I keep my hands upright the whole time. This will cause you a little bit of shoulder soreness and some possible wrist and elbow soreness because you're holding your hand at an angle you're not used to for an extended period of time. But it will keep your hands clean and it'll keep your paper from smudging. As I'm moving into the background of these, I'm starting to add in more shading. Again, I'm not ever using black on this. I'm only using darker colors in my box and palette so that I can create those shadows and shading. A lot of times it's purple or navy or blue to get back in there. And as I'm moving towards the back, I'm also allowing the colors to smudge together a little bit more because in my picture, they start becoming more out of focus. It's just the ones in the front that are really sharp and in focus. So I go back at the end and add any extra little highlights with white and darker areas to make sure it looks great.